See, boom, and we're live. And welcome to another episode of the First Division podcast, bringing you another episode of all the hot topics, whatever we want to talk about. Back again on the show. Drew, how's it going?
Good man, how you doing?
Pretty good.
What's
So,
new?
well, I was reading that, we were talking a little bit about it the last episode. I think we were talking a little bit off the stream.
Yeah,
And I think we're talking about those RFID chips, right?
yes.
Yeah. And so I looked it up a little bit today in the morning, and I came across an article, and this is from the Atlantic. Okay, this is from the Atlantic.com, and it's a health article, and I have the article in front of me now, and it's called "Why You're Probably Getting a Microchip Implant Someday." And I don't know if you remember when we were talking about it, Drew, but we were talking about like how they would sell it to you, right? Uh,
Right.
how they would say like, uh, you need this chip because it'll make your life easier. Like you want to have your coffee ready in an instant, just use your RFID ID chip. You want to turn on your TV, your lights, and your hot tub, use your RFID chip.
Yes.
So this article is something like this, right? And it says microchip implants are going from tech geek novelty to genuine health tool, and you might be running out of good reasons to say no. So right there from the article, she's gonna this article was written by Haley Weiss in 2018. So here's the premise. She's going to write an article trying to convince you why an RFID chip or a microchip implant is good for you.
That's crazy. It sounds like she's trying to sell it to you.
Yeah, exactly. And so she goes on to say, and basically I'm paraphrasing here, but uh, she's saying, you know, that of course people are going to be skeptical of it because they don't want people to be humans or don't want to be tracked, right? And things like
Right.
this. Yeah. So, and then she goes on to say, and let me scroll down here, and she's talking about how the RFID chips will work and so on. And aha, so here we are. So let me read you like the last paragraph or concluding paragraph of trying to convince people that RFID chips will be a good thing. So, for example, here's the last paragraph. But sooner or later, the laws will change and the frightening will become familiar. Meaning, I think that people are scared to have something implanted in their body, something foreign.
Of
Uh,
course.
After all it took in Sweden. So she's going to sell you right now how
And that's what I said
why
yesterday. Remember Sweden was one of
yeah,
the first people
exactly.
to do it. I saw a documentary or the TV
Yeah,
episode.
exactly. You were talking about how people in Sweden already have these implants, right?
Right.
So she says so. All it took, so all of Sweden agreed to these RFID implants because of this one thing. Sweden for RFID implants to become widespread and normalized was the simple appeal of never having to deal with a lost key. So
Okay.
so she's telling us that because Swedish people in Sweden were tired of losing their keys, house keys, flat keys, car keys, they agreed to have RFID implants. And then she goes on to say, whenever it happens, like waves of new tech before it, implantable RFID will bring us the next iteration of the yin and yang symptoms of technology, and we've seen time and time again. We are likely we will likely be healthier, safer, more informed, and more connected. And we will continue to disagree over whether it matters if our privacy and autonomy were the corresponding costs.
That sounds like craziness to me.
That sounds completely crazy, bro. I mean, what you know? So see. So she's saying that, you know, that she wants to give up a little bit of privacy, a little bit of autonomy to be chipped and be she thinks that we're going to be more informed if we have chips implanted in our bodies.
I don't know how that would be. Maybe because you're working with the fucking system, as far as that way informed. But I don't know about like woke informed.
Well, I think what she's saying is that the news will be broadcasted right to her RFID chip, and then you just scan it, and then you'll get the news popped up in on, I don't know, on your computer screen or something like that.
Well, Ben was saying something interesting yesterday when we talked about that. He was saying that I forgot about that too. Like instead of like having you like selling you on it, eventually it's gonna be mandated to where like your kids can't go to school if you don't get the chip, or they can't go to school if they don't get the chip, or you can't go to the grocery store and buy food if you don't have the chip because you can't pay when you check out because the chip's not in you because they're only accepting it that way and they don't accept cash anymore. Like it's gonna get weird. That's why like that's why I've been trying to get as much off grid as possible. Not all weird like that, but just eventually like it's just smart. Grow your own food, fucking you smoke weed or whatever, and that's like your alternative compared to drinking or whatever. You might brew instead. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Instead of
Yeah,
going to the market and fucking driving everywhere and having to depend on somebody, you can really just have everything that you need and depend on yourself. That would be solid.
that would be solid.
Not
Yeah,
farming and fucking selling all this shit to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying like where you're taking care of you and your family, like, and you got enough of that, and like it would be tough at first, but it's, you know what I mean. You could still be learning along the way and going to the market, and until you don't have to. Over the years, you just slowly get away from that shit because you have everything that you need. I don't know.
yeah,
That'd
I
be dope.
think that would be dope. I think if they do, if the government does like mandate or make it obligatory for people to have implantable RFID chips, I think it's going to be a big change in people's lives. Like all of a sudden, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be excluded from that. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
people are not going to have access, like you said, to healthcare, to you know,
Sports matches, fucking
yes.
going out to dinner, like the normal shit, you're not going to be able to do because you won't be able to pay because you don't have a chip.
Right, exactly. And there and those like businesses. So like if you want to go to a restaurant, right? And you're like, okay, do you have an RFID chip? No. Well, that's the only form of payment we take, right? So,
Yeah,
you
you'll be
know,
fucked eventually.
yeah, for sure. You're gonna be excluded from a lot of things in society. And I think that would be the ultimate goal, to exclude some people, and then that would force other people to get that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because then you would be the weirdo if you don't have it. You know what I mean? Just like,
Right.
just like how this guy was talking about society, how like they they built it up like that to where everybody's fighting against each other to make as much money as they can. They look down upon you. Like we talked about this before, how it is in San Dimas or like LA in this area. Like you feel weird if you walk into somewhere you don't belong, or maybe you're not dressed a certain way. People look down upon you. Just anything, dude. Just anything to judge you or think something of you.
Yeah. What
And
would you think?
that's super bad.
That's super bad, man. What do you think if, like, let's say, for example, if everybody had to get an RFID implant, how do you think that would affect like people in the lower like social economic status? You know, people who, you know, I think it would close a lot of doors for people like that.
That or give those people an opportunity to, because a lot of people would say fuck that, and those some of those people might make money, and but they're not with all that, with that weird shit or mark of the beast. You know what I mean? If that's what it is, like I don't know, I'm not getting that. No way, never. I don't care. So, and I know a bunch of other people that say, we'll see if it ever comes down to that and who really says that. But I put that on everything that I would never have anything like that put in me. So,
No,
uh,
for sure, because you're putting something electronical in your body. Number one, you know, that can't be good for you, right? Send, you know, something that can have like a radio wave sent, or infrared radio waves sent into your body. That can't be good. Number one, for health reasons. And number two, I don't want anything like that to be put into my body that has the possibly the ability to like shut down me, number one, and things like that are necessary for me, like, oh, you didn't pay your you didn't for example, here's an example, you didn't pay your electric bill, for example, so they'll freeze your bank account using that RFID implant, you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
would be
or you can't get into anything or whatever. Like you're not. That's what I'm saying. You're not in control. They're in control. You
exactly.
just
So what?
gave up your freedom just for that chip, just to be extra cool and make life a little bit easier. But realistically, you just like sold your soul because you're fucking diving more into the rabbit hole as far as just being fucking. They're just being more and more in control of you, dude. Why would you ever want that? It even if it doesn't do any of the stuff that you said, not saying that it wouldn't, but even if it
Sure.
doesn't do that and it just
Yeah.
tracks you, because you know
Yeah.
it does that, you know it's going to know where you're at because that's what it does for dogs. So why would you even want that? They can already track you and do all of that. And they probably have shit that we don't even know about. They could probably look in your house and know exactly what you're doing and perfect view color with fucking who even knows what, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you wouldn't even know about it. So
Sure.
that's what I'm wondering. Like, I don't know. I don't want someone fucking watching me all the time. The hell?
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Or
that's totally.
knowing not even that I'm gonna do weird shit or like do any crime or anything. It's not even that. I don't need so I don't even like when somebody's staring at me somewhere and I feel it over my shoulder. How would you feel if you felt like someone was watching all the time? You go nuts, dude. That would suck.
I think it would turn. Not only would it suck, but I think it would turn the whole society into uh like spies against each other. You know what I mean? Like everybody
Oh
would be
yeah.
paranoid.
I would be no, I wouldn't be paranoid, but
I think some people would be paranoid, but
no, I know I'm saying I wouldn't be paranoid, but
yeah,
yes, you're right. Like look at the fucking epidemic or pandemic or whatever they're calling it now. Like people just tripping out. Just
yeah,
people do with no IQ or not conscious, like raiding the stores and not leaving anything for anybody else. Like I mean, like no people aren't conscious of other people. They could care less. They're only thinking about themselves. Like, and that's not how the world works. And that's why the world's in such a bad place or was in such a bad place until everything kind of calmed down. I don't know.
yeah. I read that even like speaking of things slowing down. I didn't know this. I didn't know this before, but before all of this mess in Venice, in Italy, I didn't know that there were usually dolphins who swim in the canals, you know, in Venice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then ever since that the coronavirus spread, unfortunately, I mean, there's lots of people dying and people are getting sick, but because that tourists are unable to go there, all the boats and all the tourism kind of stopped, and the water naturally cleaned itself out, and the dolphins returned, and now it's really peaceful again, like it was before.
Well, that I saw. That's funny you say that because I saw a map that some guy posted of NASA or something, and they showed the smog or whatever, and that shit all cleared up because no one's driving around or not as many people are driving around, and not as many. It's not as much commotion and fucking bad energy and toxins that are being because everybody's staying home and chilling.
Do, do you think that this was maybe a sign to say like sign from the earth or
Well,
sign?
I'll go into that. That's why I
Yeah,
didn't finish the rest of the video, but I was watching that. That's why I like this David Wilcock guy because he's different from everybody else. He talks about the QAnon stuff, but he
yeah,
also talks about the Earth side, and he was talking about that we're going through a shift. And I heard this to go to like fourth dimension, and he said you could be 51% good and 49% bad, and you'll still make it through the shift. And supposedly the keepers of the earth, not God, but the keepers of the earth. He's a
yeah,
creator of the universe. The keepers of the earth are like the guys that are in those are the people that have been in the scriptures and everything that you read about and that you're like, why does that guy have an elongated skull, or why is this alien in here, or why is it written on the Egyptian walls? Like there's all the signs, and this guy's done all the research and put it all together, and it kind of makes sense. Like there's clues in there and before Christ and everything. So he's not saying that they're the creator, they're just saying they're the beings that watch over us and try to help us, but you have to raise your consciousness in order to get to a certain level for the earth to get to a certain point. And the way we were going, it was going to be catastrophic because nobody was raising consciousness. But now that this happened, now the earth will be able to go through the change on a good level. And he said, if you get to that level, I don't know if it's now, but it's coming. But when you get to that level, you'll be able to, like a body of light, you'll be able to do stuff like superheroes as far as move things with your mind and float and stuff like that, because everybody will be on a different level and be better to each other. I don't know. It was a trip, dude. It's the law of one. You need to look into that. That's where these. I'm not saying you need to, but you should. I think I told you about it before, but it's where those people that do like where they talk to like what is it, like the other side or stuff like that, or like
Yeah,
metaphysical forms and stuff like that. What?
yeah, you mentioned it before. It was like
This
the rainbow.
No, that's not the rainbow body. That's different. That's a level to ascend to.
Oh,
That's
I
like
see.
that you're leaving this dimension and raising to another one, because you are nothing but filled with light. So you turn into a ball of light and you raise to the next dimension or level. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing I'm talking about is they were saying, what was I talking about?
We were talking about how David Wilcock or Willock.
Wilcock.
Yeah, Wilcock. He was talking about how this uh, epidemic or pandemic is a kind of a cleansing of the earth, and is allowing the earth kind of, or something you were talking about, or how I'm interpreting it is like it's allowing the earth to kind of heal again, because the way that we were going and the way we were being greedy and technologically advanced, that we were actually harming not only the existence of humans, but also the existence of the earth.
Yes, but I was getting
Yeah.
at something else too, though, with that.
And I was thinking that, that what he was getting at is that this was a sign to kind of us to kind of slow down, or
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. The law of one. They contacted these people, and supposedly they're the like the keepers of the earth, like the ambassadors of the earth or whatever. And these people told them all this stuff. So they pretty much mapped out everything. They asked a bunch of questions and they got answered for a bunch of questions. So this higher being is the one that told them about all of this, and then said that there could be consequences or there could be not. And because of what Trump's doing and doing all this, that's why it's a good thing. Not necessarily like he's the best guy, he's just the right guy for this moment to be pushing what's going on.
So let's break that down.
Because he's not evil and stuff, and he's not a weirdo, he's not a pedophile, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so let's break that down. First of all, what can you explain what the law of one is? What is the law of one?
Well, that's hard to explain. I haven't looked at it in a little while.
Or what your understanding of it is.
You know what? I'm gonna look real quick just so I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, sure. Just so that we get an idea of, so anybody who listens to the show can understand what the law of one is, because there was like a lot of information there. And
here we go.
Let's break it down.
So the law of one states simply that all things are one, that all beings are one. There are certain behaviors and thoughts and forms constant with the understanding and practice of this law. And then I guess there's the law of one practices, practice unity, consciousness, practice loving yourself, practice loving others, practice loving the earth and nature, practice service to others, practice conscious expansion, and practice responsible co-creatorship.
So it's something that we can practice in our daily lives.
Yeah, he was saying at this point in time when all this was going down, you're supposed to be like kind of meditating, and then tomorrow, I heard tomorrow you're supposed to fast. I was gonna do that tomorrow just to see, because he also did something on his show where he did like a meditation at the end of it. It's like a 3.5 hour thing. He went live last night. I caught the end of it, but then I was watching it last night and then I didn't want to finish it, so I watched some of it this morning. Still didn't finish it, but he did like a live meditation. He had like 36,000 people that hopped in live and they all did the meditation together, and he said that the waves that they gave off was like a big improvement and help big time. So he's saying that like this time, if like doing positive things, that's why you see people, Lou, I see it. A lot of people are in the streets. Families are walking, they're taking their dogs out. Like people are actually out and about, you know what I mean? They're not just in home all day. So that would have a big impact on the earth for sure. There's no way it wouldn't.
For sure. It's almost like a disconnecting from like the Matrix, kind of, you're away from the smartphones, the Instagrams, the Twitters, your Facebooks, you're kind of getting away from that and getting it back to going back into nature and going back into just going and being with your family and taking care of, like, your immediate needs. And and I know there's some people who are going to be selfish in this situation, but I mean, it seems like a lot of people, what I've seen, especially here in Czech Republic, most people are getting, like, not friendlier, but I would say more helpful or coming together. And you could see that it making a big impact on society, where, like, people are, like, kind of, talking, together and being more like I don't think the right word is,
Community.
yeah, like a community, like a bigger community, like we're getting to know our neighbors and things like that more, and kind of disconnecting.
Too, I think it's a test as well. So during this time, are you going to take the time to realize like what's important, or are you going to go straight back to work and just be back to the same bullshit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I see some people on Facebook saying shit like, "Oh, I wish I was at the gym working out and blah blah blah." And it's like, dude, that's gross. So like, I used to be all about the gym and going out, but then I got to the point where I work out at home and do my own thing. And like, that's the best thing you could ever do. Why do I need to drive to the gym, go work out on a bunch of weights that they really don't clean, that thousands of people work on within that week or whatever? Like, that's disgusting, dude. Like, good way to spread a bunch of nasty stuff. Not like, even if you're unhealthy, like just anything, dude. Like, and what do you need to go work? I don't need to go work out. I don't like that anyways. I don't need to go work out in front of a bunch of people that watch me work out. Not saying everybody's watching me, but there's always somebody watching you.
Yeah, yeah.
Just all that. So it's like, see, people don't get to that level where they've gotten to that. A lot of people aren't at that point. They just depend on too much stuff. I've been through this so much, and so have you. When you lived in Prague, being by yourself, and you had to really suck it up and be like, look, I'm not going to just sit here and be nothing and do nothing. And you know what I mean? You learned the language, you got a job, you started making things happen, you got your lady. Now look at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to really push yourself to do that and, like, get out and explore the world. And if you get stuck into this, like, bubble of being able to just depend on all these other things, I mean, I depended on some things. Of course, I had to depend on my grandma a little bit in the beginning and a little bit on the internet. But then after that, you have to get out, explore, and then I didn't have to rely on her anymore. I got myself, and I was able to network and things like this. And once you get that, I mean, that really builds. I don't want to, get gas myself up. But I'm just saying what I'm saying is it takes a lot of drive and willpower to kind of get out of these kind of things, these situations where, like, yeah, after all this, I'm going to go back to the gym. You know what I mean? Why can't you do your workout at your house? You know what I mean?
Well, I was going to say too is like, I know I always like rise to the occasion on that kind of stuff. Like, I almost have to go through that sometimes to make me stronger. Cause like I get to a point to where I remember I was in Germany and a month of no internet, no nothing, dude. Before I was 2 weeks. I'm sorry. Before we started practicing, I got there early. And I got the apartment early before everybody else. Everything. So I had 2 weeks, dude. And like the first couple of days, I kind of just chilled. I was trying to figure stuff out, and I was using my phone, but I didn't have Wi-Fi or anything. So I got to the point where it was like, dude, I'm not going to be a sucker and just sit here and do nothing. So then I got a gym pass. I was starting to get ready. I was going on runs every day. I was walking to the market every day. Like, I was just active, whether it was I was just giving myself something to do. It didn't even matter if it was walking to the market to buy one thing and walk back. That burned an hour and a half. Then I came back and worked out. Or by that time, it was like the day was almost over. You know what I mean? Like, other people would just sit there and be all chill. Like, some of the other players would just chill all day till practice. I don't know, dude. People are just different, but I think that's crazy to me if you don't rise to the occasion on some of the obstacles that you face, because that's what makes you stronger.
Yeah, and it allows you to kind of build on to, like, your
Build your
decision making
character
abilities
and your
your
character.
Yeah, exactly. I think it builds like a stronger core of yourself, and you get a sense of, like, where you belong in this world. That you don't have to really, like, fit into all these molds or societies. You just kind of forge your own path, and you become more of an individual rather than just a kind of, what I say, like a sheep that follows everything. You know what I mean? Which is whoever you want to be, you can be. That's okay. But I think if you really want to get out of that mold, I think that's what I think that the USA media and public school system kind of guides you into that kind of sheep mentality, and it's very hard to break out of that, and you have to kind of unlearn some of the stuff that you were taught, whether it was valuable or not. You still have to kind of unlearn that and get out. If you want to grow as a person, you have to get out and explore and do things on your own and find out where you're standing in society is. And then I think that's what can make you really stand out as a person, whether you're male or female or transgender or gay or lesbian. In any of those situations, I think it's good to kind of break out of that bubble and explore yourself to find kind of yourself in that way.
Yeah, that's true. You got to push yourself. You have to.
Yeah, otherwise you get complacent, you know.
I've never been like that though. Where I always get bored if it's too complacent for me. That's why like if I had two dogs, I'd be traveling here and there, whether it was in state or whatever. It's not even just to travel and waste money. It's not even like that. It's for the experience and to gain more knowledge, see more of the world, and just I don't like just to stand still. You know what I mean?
I definitely know what you mean. I mean, standing still sometimes it gets like kind of boring, you know. You like for me, that's why I think traveling is really good for people. Traveling.
You have to travel. If you don't travel, it won't open up what's really going on.
No, especially I mean in
Not
the
saying there's
US.
a bunch of crazy shit. I'm just saying like what's really going on, how people really are from that country, how their cultures really are. I don't know, just all of that. How good like the food's different, just everything, dude. Language.
Yeah, exactly. And you find out like you know, and you find out the different parts of the world that are different from your culture, and you learn from that, and you accept and you like learn all these different experiences, and that's why I don't understand. I mean, this is what bugs me or bothers me a lot is uh this idea of cultural appropriation, right? Like where you can't even, that's what like the US is all about, my friend. Like the you know like there's a whole bunch of cultures in the US, and then I'm not supposed to be able to embrace that. Like I can't eat Chinese food because I'm not Chinese, or I can't eat tacos because I'm not Mexican or Spanish. Like to me that's absurd. I think that's a absurd point of view of the world. I think if you travel and you understand different cultures, I think you should be able to be uh, bringing that culture with you back to the United States or wherever you live, because that's great. Why wouldn't you be able to do that?
Yeah, that'd be yeah, right? I
I
don't
think
know.
that's kind of crazy, man.
Well, people I don't think people really know, man. People probably don't even really know what they want in general, right?
I don't think so. I think a lot of people don't find out themselves even if they're in university, man.
Look, most most people live a normal life. Okay, so you have two sides of it. You either, which I've noticed as growing up, you either got the people that travel, that get addicted to traveling, and they traveled like during school, after school, like whatever, go hiking, do shit like that, or you got the other people that do the occasional traveling that are like your typical tourists who go and stay for a couple days and do your typical tourist shit. I don't think what we did was normal. Not everybody goes and plays soccer somewhere, or like you staying like that. You know what I'm saying? Or and live there and then not come back,
No,
or even
definitely
just or even
very
just
abnormal.
traveling. I would say even just traveling to go play in different countries, maybe one or something. But I traveled to a couple, so that was I don't know. That was an experience. That's when I really got a real taste of how really real soccer is. That's when I was like, I don't know if I could do this shit.
Well, you know what gave me a very like different perspective of the US?
What?
When I was 19, I took a train trip from Los Angeles to New York, and it took about 4 days. And you meet all types of characters, and on the train trip, you pass through like I would say 22 states, something like that. That's half the country. That's half of all of the 50 states. And it was amazing, man. You get to see all the different architectures, different cultures of people, uh, different creeds, beliefs, all types of people, and every state looks different. But what was so great about that is that I learned more about my own country. I was like, damn, I didn't know this. I was like, I'm looking at Colorado, the forest, and I was like, this is a beautiful state, man. I was like, this is great. And then I was like, in Missouri, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. They have like lots of agriculture. This is cool. I never seen it before. In New Mexico, they had the adobe houses, and I was like, wow, this is cool. This is amazing. I never even knew it existed. My life was just centered around LA, fucking concrete jungle, city after city after city. And then when I explored out of it, I learned more about my own country, and then I gained a better appreciation that all these people that I met on the train and all these people that I saw in all these states made all of us American. That was such a great feeling. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I'm proud to be part of this country. It was awesome. It was a great experience.
That sounded like it was a good experience. Well, you told me about that before, though.
Yeah. And I definitely recommend, if you go on it, get a sleeper car, because it's a long journey.
Dude, I can't believe you did that, especially by yourself.
Just by myself, dude.
But that made you probably stronger for sure, big time. And then you realize how much is out there and like how much fun you had.
Yeah, it was so much fun, dude. And the people you met and the conversation is, because what happens is, if you're a single traveler, for example, when you go to the restaurant car, wherever there's a free spot, the host or the hostess puts you in a spot where there's like an empty seat. So if there's like 3 people in a seat, they'll put you there. So you could be with a family of 3 or 3 complete strangers. And then it's great because, it forces you to talk to people that you probably would never have talked to before in your life. And you have these conversations about, oh, where are you going? What are you up to? This is great, and blah, blah, blah. And you just, and you talk shit, and it's awesome.
This sounds like a good time.
It is a good time. And then you stop, like every so often you get a break, you can go out of the train, and it was a great experience, man.
Oh, maybe one day I'll do that.
If you have a chance, I would recommend it.
I rode on the train in Europe a lot, and especially when I first got to Germany, I had to take it was like a 3-hour fucking train ride. I've never been there before. I had to figure it out. Train ride from Berlin or Munich all the way to, I think, Nuremberg or something.
Dude, was it all written in German?
Yeah, but I mean, the hardest place I've ever been was probably Thailand, but yeah, it is, but you just figure it out. You just ask, or I look it up on my phone to see where it goes, and then I know I would look some of that stuff up before I went or when I was going over there to figure it out. I'm not an idiot. My mom always thought like I would just hit the ground running when I got there, which I did most of the time. But for some reason, dude, someone was always looking out for me or something, because someone always told me like what's up, or don't do this, don't do that, or I always ran into somebody that kind of went with me when I got a taxi, or just it was kind of weird. I don't know. Just I always got kind of lucky,
Yeah, for sure. That's always good to be like.
Or there's just better people and they're looking out. Like I did notice in Europe, there's a lot of most people are pretty friendly, or if you ask them, it's not LA or all sketched out to ask somebody maybe sometimes, or I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't know. At least we live here, or at least you live here and I live here now, so I know how it is. Like you don't want to ask the wrong person for directions. Over there, it's like you're not gonna really come across that too much.
Not really. I mean, you're not gonna get. People are usually pretty helpful. They're gonna like guide you in the right direction. There's not a lot of that kind of. There is and there isn't. I mean, there isn't that really, like, they're not gonna scam you. I mean, if you're gonna say like, hey, I want to buy tickets to, like, I don't know, to Berlin, they're not gonna give you tickets to Nuremberg or somewhere where you're not gonna want to go. They're gonna help you buy the correct tickets.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, there's always English options. I mean, you don't have to worry about it.
Well, as long as you know where you're going, you don't need to really speak the language. Just need to tell them like, just show them like you're going here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You just say Berlin, and then they're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah, they're gonna get you into the onto the right train to Berlin. They're not gonna they're not gonna scam you in that way, you know.
Well, not even that. You could read it, what it says on the ticket compared to what it says on there. You could put it together. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah,
you, but I'm
exactly.
saying most people, unless you're a fucking retard. But maybe that's why the retards don't travel like we did. So I don't know.
No, maybe not. Maybe they have a problem with reading the ticket that says Berlin to Munich, and you're like, oh damn, I got on the train to Leipzig. This is not correct.
Well, dude, my mom was all scared. Like my mom and my dad haven't traveled like that, so my mom's kind of she'll go, but I could already see how she is. She would be like, it'd be I don't want to be mean, but it'd be kind of annoying to travel with her because like she'd be asking all these questions. She'd want everything to be all like planned out. It's like I don't do all that. I just like kind of just go off how it go. Like I'll look stuff up and stuff, but I'm not gonna like be doing tour guides and all this weird stuff. And not saying my mom would, but just I'm not gonna have everything planned. Like we need to do everything in order. It's just kind of like let's just see how it goes when you get there and kind of feel it out and go from there. Like what?
Yeah, last year I flew with my dad to Dublin, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, it was pretty cool. And I mean, we planned out like how to get from the airport to the city center, and then to the city center
That's
to a
smart.
hotel. Yeah, like we pre-planned that, right? So before we went, we booked the hotel rooms, uh and then we planned out how to get there, because you need some kind of basic idea. And then so then we took the bus and we got to our place, and then we were like, well, what do we want to do, right? We got there, it was like 5 in the afternoon or something like that. So it was still like, pretty early, not that late, but shops were closing where we were staying in a small town. But we didn't plan it. We didn't have like an itinerary where we had to go to, like, from 5 to 6 to the theater, 7 to 8. We had to go to dinner, 9 to 10. We're gonna take a tour, any of that. We just went, and we saw a castle just by walking. We saw a couple churches just by walking, and that was enough. And then we ended up in an Irish pub, had a couple Guinnesses, and had some dinner, and then just chilled. I mean, we didn't, I think how I travel, I don't like things to be so planned where every hour has to be filled with stuff. We just kind of like found things to do while we were traveling or while we were hanging out.
And that another thing on top of that, what you're saying is, I don't like to totally get off schedule when I just because I go to another country. I I think it's about going and seeing like how pretty it is and the setting and the people and all that adds to it. But I'm still gonna work out and I still want to do all that and then add in the things that I can't do here over there. That's all I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Other people totally like look at it as like a party vacation. It's like you're a fool, dude.
yeah, I think that helps with jet lag too, if you kind of keep your daily routine.
Yeah,
Like,
that's yeah. What? Yeah, because if you get jet lag and then you don't do anything and don't work out or don't get your body moving, then yeah, you're probably fucked for sure.
dude, your holiday is fucked, dude. You're gonna be like your whole like body schedule will be off.
I always did it wrong though. I wish I knew. I wish I knew more about the health stuff. Like I learned about everything like that I should have been doing after I stopped playing. It sucked, dude. But one thing I found out is you don't eat the plane food and you don't eat on your flight. That messes up your system. So you don't eat during your whole flight, and you can restart your system when you touch down, and you won't really have jet lag, and you'll sleep good. So I was like, "Fuck, man! I wish I knew that before that."
Yeah, I read that if you the best is to keep hydrated on a long flight.
Yeah, just drink a bunch of water and if you take your herbs or whatever and don't eat, you'll be solid, dude. You'll get off probably feeling like $1,000,000.
Yeah, you'll be fine, because usually what happens is, like, when you change time zones, dude, I don't know what happens to you, but sometimes when it happens to me, like, my my stomach gets all fucked up,
I knew
dude.
you were gonna say that, yes, and that's what I was gonna say. That's why it says not. That's why I'm thinking that makes 100% sense not to eat because when you're traveling at that altitude, it's probably fucking with like your digestive system. So then you're eating all that shitty food, and on top of it, shitty food. You're eating the shitty food, and then it's trying to process it all off, and then you're staying up on top of the time that you're not supposed to be. So, dude, you're just throwing your whole system off, and then you're eating. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's why it makes sense not to eat anything and just drink water.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense because sure, I mean, if you're eating like if you're going like a transatlantic flight, right, and London, you get to London at 11 in the morning usually because you fly at 6 p.m. So like you're flying through the night, but they serve you like dinner at like 1 in the morning, and that's when you don't usually eat at those times anyway.
But then you feel like you have to eat, and then they got to serve you another one for. It just depends on your flight, but it could be like what it'll be like dinner and breakfast or something.
Yeah, maybe. Usually.
Yeah, and then it's like, dude, they don't make it on there. It all comes in trays and they warm it up. Like, oh, that's gross, dude. No wonder why it fucks your stomach up too.
For sure, bro. That food is not good.
I'm never gonna eat on a flight again. If I'm gonna do anything, I'll bring food. I'm never gonna eat on a flight again, though.
Do you think that food is naturally like crappy, or do you think it's only crappy because because you're so high up in the air, like the altitude, you're like 33,000 feet, so the food tastes crappy?
No, I think it's naturally crappy because, dude, anything that comes in a wrapped up and you gotta warm up or whatever, not necessarily a microwave, but just warm up like that, dude, that's not kosher.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
You wouldn't eat that at a restaurant. If you went to I just thought about that. That's a good point, dude. You should tell somebody that. Why do you eat the food on the plane? If you would go to a restaurant and they tried to give you food like that, you would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's a good point. You would want to return that food right away, or you would notice it right away, and you would be like, "I'm not paying for that."
Yeah, you'd be like, "What is this? I didn't come to dinner for this. I could buy this at the grocery store and pop it in for $5."
Exactly.
Dude, that's crazy. I never thought of that till now. That's a really good point.
Yeah, that is a good point.
It's just because people are stuck on the flight. That just goes to show you how much people get bored and don't know what to do. Like, fuck, I could be one of the worst people. I got lots of I want to get up and walk around and do. But I just watch like 3 movies. I'll get up, walk around, stretch. I'll fuck with whoever's next to me. Like fuck around. Or I had a kid one time. We messed around the whole time. Like had a good time. Played video games. Like his parents are right there. They were cool. And I don't know. I just make everything of the moment, I guess, because I'm not smoking weed. I'm not doing anything else that I normally do. So I got to do something. But it's not that bad.
And usually, if you watch like 3 movies, it kills time. I mean, an average movie is about 2 hours. So if you're on a 6-hour flight to New York, from LA to New York, you basically killed that flight.
That's what I'm saying. The only thing that sucks is the time that we went to Prague. And then the time I went to Thailand, dude, those are the 2 worst flights that I've ever fucking been on. Straight up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The one that we went on was like a full day. That was horrible. We seriously we didn't fly for a whole day, but the traveling and everything and then the flying, that was retarded, dude. That was like we went like all the way across the world.
Yeah, we did.
And then when I went to Thailand, that shit was like 18 hours or something. I don't even know how I made it through. It was like 12 hours to London and then or I think London or something, or Germany, and then from there to Thailand. That was too long, dude.
Did you have any break? Did you have any layover time? Or
yeah, that's what I mean. When I went to London, I think that was my layover, and then from London we went to Thailand. I think it was that or Germany. I don't think it was Germany. I think it was London. But then the other thing that was funny was on my flight to Thailand, I meet a guy that's older than me that went to Bonita.
Really?
Yeah, he was moving from Laverne to there, and it makes sense because you can get a woman over there, not buying, but I'm saying like they like white guys, so he was gonna get a woman in property for a pretty good price.
When I was when was it? I think I was flying to Czech Republic in 2012, I think, with my dad for a quick holiday, and we were in LAX, and we met this Hungarian guy, and dude, we were waiting to the flight to London. We had a stop in London and then to Prague, and So we wanted to kill some time because we got to LAX a little bit early. So we wanted to go to the pub and get a couple drinks before the flight. So we were in the bar. We had a couple of beers, and this guy, he's like, "Hey, my friends," and we're like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And we're just minding our business. Like, "My friends, where are you guys from? Or where are you guys flying to?" And we said Czech Republic, and he goes, "Oh, my friends, I am from Hungary." And we're like, "Oh, that's cool, man. What's your name?" "Oh, my name's Chaba." And shout outs to Chaba, by the way. Wherever you are in the world, you were awesome, man. And he was like, "Czech beer is the best in the world." And we go, "Yeah, what are you drinking?" He goes, "Heineken." And I go, "Well, Heineken's not so bad." And he goes, "No, it's not so bad, but all other beer is bullshit, my friends." And we were like, "Yeah, man." And he was like, "You guys want to have some vodka with me?" And we were like, "No, we're flying." And he's like, "Oh, I'm flying too. I'm flying to Thailand."
Oh shit!
Yeah, dude. And he was, and dude, this guy, he was like already sweating alcohol, man. Like you can smell it.
This fool said that stuff's bullshit.
Yeah, dude.
Was your dad like thinking like this guy's a fucking idiot?
No, he was just like, "Be cool." He was like, "Yeah, it's okay, man." He was like, "Heineken is bullshit. Czech beer is the best in the world," you know.
Oh, that's what he said?
Yeah, he said the Czech beer is he said Czech beer is the best in the world. Heineken is okay, but other beers are just bullshit.
Oh, that's funny. That's solid. Well, Czech beer is bomb, dude.
Dude, it's pretty good. Especially if you're like working out in the garden, man. It's so fresh.
What's a legitimate big Czech beer that would be in the United States? Isn't that like Stella's from Berlin or something? Or
no, yeah, Stella's from
Belgium.
Yeah, Pilsner Urquell is probably the biggest one that will be in the United States.
That's right. And there was another one I had. You know what? That might be the only beer I ever drink from now on is if I just go in somewhere they have it. Because I've come across it once or twice where they had a Czech beer, but it was at like a bigger restaurant that carried multiple taps. And I remember they had Czech beer, so I was like, "I'm going to get one of those." And it was bomb. It doesn't fuck you up like it does. I don't know. It probably just doesn't have a bunch of crap in it. You just don't feel shitty, dude. All these other beers that I drink in the United States that make me sick and stuff, it's like I can't drink that stuff.
Yeah, let's see. It's there's only a few ingredients in it, you know.
And, they don't put the ingredients on beer usually, really, do they?
Like, do they list it?
Yeah, no, not really.
No, they list it.
Or they do? Are you sure? Because usually on the bottles and stuff, it just says like Bud Light and stuff. It'll say like just the percent alcohol and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. When did it ever say the ingredients of what's in there?
Oh, I don't know. I never drank American beer, so like in that way.
You remember back in the day when we were younger?
I never really checked the bottles either.
Just think about when you bought like when you had a can or anything, like it just said the facts on the back of how many calories it was or whatever. It never said what was in it.
Really? I don't.
Yeah, and then it had like I'm almost 100% positive.
Dude, because it's like on the back of the bottle.
I don't even think soda tells you what's in there.
What?
I don't even think soda tells you what's in there.
That's true. I think Coca-Cola here tells you what. I think it's by law that they have to tell you what's in the.
Maybe more so now, but I remember when we were growing up. I just remember the calories, and I don't remember what it said as far as what was in there.
That's bad. That's pretty bad.
You don't remember that on the can? It'd be the logo, and then like the blue, and that like swiggly logo with like the red, blue, and gray. And then on the back, it would just have the calories. It never said the ingredients. I never read.
You mean like Coors Light, for example, or
Coors Light, soda, any of those? I don't know. I remember that.
I think they usually had like the sugar content. I think as well.
Yeah, well, okay, but then they didn't say like what they made it with and added to it.
Oh, for sure not. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, for sure not. No, they didn't have that.
Because see, look, I'm gonna look right here.
Like in bottles of.
Oh, they do have it now. See, they never had that before, dude. It says water, barley, rice, and hops.
Really?
They never. They never had that before, dude. I swear to God.
Let's see, Pilsner Urquell ingredients, and let's look it up. Ingredients. So Pilsner Urquell ingredients. Okay, so here it is. So it has a little bit of it has malted barley, hops, a little bit of lager yeast, and soft water. That's it, and they list it on the back. What's in it?
Maybe then it's because we're older. They didn't have to do that stuff back in the day. Really.
Yeah, I don't think it was I don't think it was by law before that they had to.
Ew, dude, that's gross. Look at this beer, that Bud Light beer orange. Water, corn, barley, cane sugar, natural flavors, citric acid, orange peel, and hop extract.
That's not beer.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, that does sound disgusting.
That's what most people are drinking, you know what I'm saying?
What is it called? Bud Light?
Orange. I'm not saying they're drinking that, but I'm saying
Yeah.
most people, like, remember were you around when the Four Locos came out and all that? Dude, that shit's like poison.
What is it?
A Four Loco. It was like liquor, beer, and then like Monster. It was called Four Loco. Yes, so it would fuck you up, dude. Like if you drank 3 or 4 of those, dude, you'd be on or 2 of those, you'd be on like a whole nother level. I remember Shiva used to drink them, and like he would just get sloppy, super fucked up, and then you're drinking something that's taking you down and then bringing you up, dude. That's just asking for heart problems.
That's what they said. That's the problem when if you were drinking Red Bull vodka.
I already knew that, dude. I went through it the one time because I'm already healthy, and we partied one night, and I smoked a bunch of hookah, weed, drank a bunch of liquor, and then what else did I do? Nothing else. I don't do anything else. And then stayed up like all night. And then I remember the next day I was having like heart issues, dude, because I was like maxing myself out. And I'm not meant for that anyways. And like I was pushing the limits. I remember, dude, I was like passing out on the freeway. I thought I was having like a heart attack. And I had to like drive from Long Beach to Irwindale, and I was on the freeway stuck in traffic. I don't know how I made it. And then Eric drove me all the way home. It was crazy. I was having like an anxiety attack.
Dude, that sounds like something I don't even want to get involved with, man. That shit. Look, it says here, let's see, Four Loko marketed as a premium malt beverage in cherry and berry flavors. The drink contained taurine, guarana, caffeine, and wormwood, the supposed psychoactive ingredient of absinthe. Jesus. Dude. So, dude, you're gonna get the caffeine high from the fucking taurine and caffeine, and then you're gonna get that psychedelic high from the wormwood. Then you're gonna get fucked up and dehydrated from the alcohol, and then dude, that's gonna mess your body up, bro.
Big time.
You're fucked. Dude, your body's gonna go through a lot of things, especially if you're not healthy.
Yeah, forget that. I'm not with all that.
Dude, they banned it supposedly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Dude, I would never buy that.
Hell no.
Dude, no.
I don't even think I ever drank that stuff, that Four Locos. I don't know.
Yeah, I never drank it either. I didn't even know what it was.
Seriously.
Dude. All right, man. So you ready to wrap this up?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So when do you want to do this again, man?
What is today? Monday? I don't know. We can do tomorrow.
Tomorrow's not good for me. I have some other meeting tomorrow about this time.
Let's do Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, we can do Wednesday for sure.
Okay, sounds good.
You got any final thoughts to wrap this up, man?
No, I think we'll just have more. Hopefully, we'll have more information to give out, or hopefully something happens within that time. Let's just say that. I don't want to. I'm not going to depend on. I'm not saying these guys are right. I just think some of the information's kind of weird, and some of it adds up, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's just hope for good things. That's all I would say.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see what happens in these next 3 days. Whatever happens.
Oh, if the internet goes out and stuff, I won't be able to talk to you though. So, if that happens.
Yeah, so we'll see what the big what the big event will happen, and we'll see what happens in the next 3 days. I would like to say that if whatever happens in these next 2 days, stay low, be prepared. Um, just wait to see what happens, man. But let's do this again on either Wednesday or Thursday, bro.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, man. So
Have a good day. Enjoy your day. The rest of your day.
enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good.
Peace.
All right, bye.